Yes, it started. You guys can carry on. Yeah.
My screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, today we will begin with Alchemist Day 2. And yesterday we all have read uh, introduction and prologue, and the story is very interesting. It says ki introduction talks where Paul Coelho talks about the global success of the Alchemist and highlights the four major obstacles that stop people from pursuing their dreams. He told that four obstacles are uh, we are told from the in childhood that our dreams are impossible. We fear hurting our loved ones by choosing our own path. We fear the defeats and failures that may come along the way. And lastly, we fear actually receiving, fear actually achieving the dream we long for. In prologue is the story of Narcissus. We read the unique version of the Narcissus tale, where the lake weeps, not because Narcissus was beautiful, but because in his eyes the lake saw its own beauty, a profound reminder of self-reflection and inward journey. The main stories follows that here the Santiago shepherd boy who repeatedly dreams of the treasure hidden near the Egyptian pyramid. Santiago sleep mm, Santiago sleeps in an abandoned church and dreams of a child who shows him a hidden treasure of the pyramid. He visits a gypsy woman who interprets the dream and asks for one-tenth of the treasure in return. Santiago that meets a mysterious old man, the king of Suleiman, who knows everything about him. The king introduces the idea of personal legend, saying, when you really want something, the whole universe conspire you to help to achieve it. We also learned about Santiago's background and why he chooses to become a shepherd instead of priest to fulfill the dream of traveling. Now we will read ahead and see how the story unfolds. So, whoever wants to read, kindly drop his or her name.
Yeah,
Uh,
I may start.
yeah, Sumanji, you may go ahead. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
From this yellow mark, you can start.
Okay, okay. They were both silent for a time, observing the plaza and the townspeople. It was the old man who spoke first. Why do you tend a flock of sheep? Because I like to travel. The old man pointed to a baker standing in his shop window at one corner of the plaza. When he was a child, that man wanted to travel too, but he decided first to buy his bakery and put some money aside. When he is an old man, he is going to spend a month in Africa. He never realized that people are capable at any time in their lives of doing what they dream of. He should have decided to become a shepherd, the boy said. Well, he thought about that, the old man said. But bakers are more important people than shepherds. Bakers have homes, while shepherds sleep out in the open. Parents would rather see their children marry bakers than shepherds. The boy felt a pang in his heart, thinking about the merchant's daughter. There was surely a baker in her town. The old man continued, in the long run, what people think about shepherds and bakers become more important for them than their own personal legends. The old man leafed through the book and fell to reading a page he came to. The boy waited and then interrupted the old man's just as he himself had been interrupted. Why are you telling me all this? Because you are trying to realize your personal legend, and you are at the point where you are about to give it all up. And that is when you always appear on the scene. Not always in this way, but I always appear in one form or another. Sometimes I appear in the form of a solution or a good idea. At other times, at a crucial moment, I make it easier for things to happen. There are other things I do too, but most of the time, people don't realize I have done them. The old man related that the week before he had been forced to appear before a miner, and had taken the form of a stone. The miner had abandoned everything to go mining for emeralds. For 5 years he had been working at a certain river, and had examined hundreds of thousands of stones looking for an emerald. And he had examined hundreds of thousands of stones looking for an emerald. The miner was about to give it all up, right at the point when, if he were to examine just one more stone, just one more, he would find his emerald. Since the miner had sacrificed everything to his personal legend, the old man decided to become involved. He transformed himself into a stone that rolled up to the miner's foot. The miner, with all the anger and frustration of his 5 fruitless years, picked up the stone and threw it aside. But he had thrown it with such force that it broke the stone it fell upon, and there, embedded in the broken stone, was the most beautiful emerald in the world. People learn early in their lives what is their reason for being, said the old man with a certain bitterness. Maybe that is why they give up on it so early, but that is the way it is. The boy reminded the old man that he had said something about hidden treasure. Treasure is uncovered by the force of flowing water, and it is buried by the same currents, said the old man. If you want to learn about your own treasure, you will have to give me 1/10 of your flock. What about 1/10 of my treasure? The old man looked disappointed. If you start out by promising what you don't even have yet, you will lose your desire to work toward getting it. The boy told him that he had already promised to give 1/10 of his treasure to the gypsy. Gypsies Gypsies are experts at getting people to do that, sighed the old man. In any case, it is good that you have learned that everything in life has its price. This is what the warriors of the light try to teach. The old man returned the book to the boy. Tomorrow, at the same time, bring me 1/10 of your flock, and I will tell you how to find the hidden treasure. Good afternoon. And he vanished around the corner of the plaza. The boy began again to read his book, but he was no longer able to concentrate. He was tense and upset because he knew that the old man was right. He went over to the bakery and bought a loaf of bread, thinking about whether or not he should tell the baker what the old man had said about him. Sometimes it is better to leave things as they are, he thought to himself, and decided to say nothing. If he were to say anything, the baker would spend 3 days thinking about giving it all up, even though he had gotten used to the way things were. The boy could certainly resist causing that kind of anxiety for the baker, so he began to wander through the city and found himself at the gates. There was a small building there with a window at which people bought tickets to Africa, and he knew that Egypt was in Africa. "Can I help you?" asked the man behind the window. "Maybe tomorrow," said the boy, moving away. If he sold just one of his sheep, he would have enough to get to the other shore of the strait. The idea frightened him. "Another dreamer," said the ticket seller to his assistant, watching the boy walk away. "He doesn't have enough money to travel." While standing at the ticket window, the boy had remembered his flock, and he decided he should go back to being a shepherd. In 2 years, he had learned everything about shepherding. He knew how to shear sheep, how to care for pregnant ewes, and how to protect the sheep from wolves. He knew all the fields and pastures of Andalusia, and he knew what was the fair price for every one of his animals. He decided to return to his friend's stable by the longest route possible. As he walked past the city's castle, he interrupted his return and climbed the stone ramp that led to the top of the wall. From there, he could see Africa in the distance. Someone had once told him that it was from there that the Moors had come to occupy all of Spain. He could see almost the entire city from where he sat, including the plaza where he had talked with the old man. Curse the moment I met that old man, he thought. He had come to the town only to find a woman who could interpret his dream. Neither the woman nor the old man was at all impressed by the fact that he was a shepherd. They were solitary individuals who no longer believed in things and didn't understand that shepherds become attached to their sheep. He knew everything about each member of his flock. He knew which one were lame, which one was to give birth 2 months from now, and which were the laziest. He knew how to shear them and how to slaughter them. If he ever decided to leave them, they would suffer. The wind began to pick up. He knew that wind. People called it the Levanter because on it the Moors had come from the Levant at the eastern end of the Mediterranean. The levanter increased in intensity. Here I am between my flock and my treasure, the boy thought. He had to choose between something he had become accustomed to and something he wanted and something he wanted to have. There was also the merchant's daughter, but she was not as important as his flock because she did not depend on him. Maybe she didn't even remember him. He was sure that it made no difference to her on which day he appeared for her. Every day was the same. And when each day is the same as the next, it is because people fail to recognize the good things that happen in their lives every day that the sun rises. I left my father, my mother, and the town castle behind. They have gotten used to my being away, and so have I. The sheep will get used to my not being there too, the boy thought. From where he sat, he could observe the plaza. People continued to come and go from the baker's shop. A young couple sat on the bench where he had talked with the old man, and they kissed. That baker, he said to himself without completing the thought. The levanter was still getting stronger, and he felt its force on his face. That wind had brought the moors, yes, but it had also brought the smell of the desert of veiled women. It had brought with it the sweat and the dreams of men who had once left to search for the unknown, and for gold and adventure, and for the pyramids. The boy felt jealous of the freedom of the wind and saw that he could have the same freedom. There was nothing to hold him back except himself. The sheep, the merchant's daughter, and the fields of Andalusia were only steps along the way to his personal legend. The next day the boy met the old man at noon. He brought 6 sheep with him. I am surprised, the boy said. My friend bought all the other sheep immediately. He said that he had always dreamed of being a shepherd and that it was a good omen. "That is the way it always is," said the old man. "It is called the principle of favorability. When you play cards the first time, you are almost sure to win. Beginner's luck. Why is that? Because there is a force that wants you to realize your personal legend. It whets your appetite with the taste of success. Then the old man began to inspect the sheep, and he saw that one was lame. The boy explained that it was not important, since that sheep was the most intelligent of the flock and produced the most wool. Where is the treasure? He asked. It is in Egypt, near the pyramids. The boy was startled. The old woman had said the same thing, but she had not charged him anything.
Thank you,
In
Sim.
order, yeah, yeah.
Pranavi ji, you can take ahead.
Yes. Good morning to all. In order to find the treasure, you will have to follow the omens. God has prepared a path for everyone to follow. You just have to read the omen that He left for you. Before the boy could reply, a butterfly appeared and fluttered between him and the old man. He remembered something his grandfather had once told him, that butterflies were a good omen, like crickets and like grasshoppers, like lizards and four leaf clovers. That's right, said the old man, able to read the boy's thoughts. Just as your grandfather taught you, these are good omens. The old man opened his cape, and the boy was struck by what he saw. The old man wore a breastplate of heavy gold covered with precious stones. The boy recalled the brilliance he had noticed on the previous day. He really was a king. He must be disguised to avoid encounters with thieves. Take these, said the old man, holding out a white stone and a black stone that had been embedded at the center of the breastplate. They are called Urim and Thummim. The black signifies yes, and the white no. When you are not able to read the omens, they will help you to do so. Always ask an objective question, but if you can, try to make your own decisions. The treasure is at the pyramids, that you already knew, but I had to insist on the payment of 6 sheep because I helped you to make your decision. The boy put the stones in his pouch. From then on, he would make his own decisions. Don't forget that everything you deal with is only one thing and nothing else. And don't forget the language of omens. And above all, don't forget to follow your personal legend through to its conclusion. But before I go, I want to tell you a little story. A certain shopkeeper sent his son to learn about the secret of happiness from the wisest man in the world. The lad wandered through the desert for 40 days and finally came upon a beautiful castle high atop of mountain. It was there that the wise man lived. Rather than finding a saintly man, though our hero, on entering the main room of the castle, saw a hive of activity. Tradesmen came and went. People were conversing in the corners. A small orchestra was playing soft music, and there was a table covered with platters of the most delicious food in that part of the world. The wise man conversed with everyone, and the boy had to wait for 2 hours before it was his turn to be given the man's attention. The wise man listened attentively to the boy's explanation of why he had come, but told him that he didn't have time just then to explain the secret of happiness. He suggested that the boy look around the palace and return in 2 hours. Meanwhile, I want to ask you to do something, said the wise man, handing the boy a teaspoon that held 2 drops of oil. As you wander around, carry this spoon with you without allowing the oil to spill. The boy began climbing and descending the many stairways of the palace, keeping his eyes fixed on the spoon. After 2 hours, he returned to the room where the wise man was. Well, asked the wise man, did you see the Persian tapestries that are hanging in my dining hall? Did you see the garden that it took the master gardener 10 years to create? Did you notice the beautiful parchments in my library? The boy was embarrassed and confessed that he had observed nothing. His only concern had been not to spill the oil, that the wise men had entrusted him. Then go back and observe the marvels of my world, said the wise man. You cannot trust a man if you don't know his house. Relieved, the boy picked up the spoon and returned to his exploration of the palace. This time, observing all of works of art on the ceilings and the walls. He saw the gardens, the mountains all around him, the beauty of the flowers, and the taste with which everything had been selected. Upon returning to the wise man, he related in detail everything he had seen. But where are the drops of oil I entrusted to you? Asked the wise man. Looking down at the spoon he held, the boy saw that the oil was gone. Well, there is only one piece of advice I can give you, said the wisest of the wise men. The secret of happiness is to see all the marvels of the world and never to forget the drops of oil on the spoon. The shepherd said nothing. He had understood the story the old king had told him. A shepherd may like to travel, but he should never forget about his sheep. The old man looked at the boy and, with his hand held together, made several strange gestures over the boy's head. Then, taking his sheep, he walked away. At the highest point in Tarifa, there is an old fort built by the Moors. From atop its walls, one can catch a glimpse of Africa. Melchizedek, the king of Salem, sat on the wall of the fort that afternoon and felt the lavender blowing in his face. The sheep fidgeted nearby, uneasy with their new corner and excited by so much change. All they wanted was food and water. Melchizedek watched a small ship that was plowing its way out of the port. He would never again see the boy, just as he had never seen Abraham again after having charged him his 1/10 fee. That was his work. The gods should not have desires because they don't have personal legends. But the king of Salem hoped desperately that the boy would be successful. It's too bad that he's quickly going to forget my name, he thought. I should have repeated it for him. Then, when he spoke about me, he would say that I am Melchizedek, the king of Salem. He looked to the skies, feeling a bit abashed, and said, I know it's the vanity of vanities, as you said, my lord, but an old king sometimes has to take some pride in himself. Yes, please go ahead. Thank you all.
Yeah. So, how strange Africa is, thought the boy. He was sitting in a bar very much like the other bars he had seen along the narrow streets of Tangier. Some men were smoking from a gigantic pipe that they passed from one to the other. In just a few hours, he had seen men walking hand in hand, women with their faces covered, and priests that climbed to the tops of towers and chanted, as everyone about him went to their knees and placed their foreheads on the ground. A practice of infidels. He said to himself, as a child in church, he had always looked at the image of Saint Santiago Metamoros on his white horse, his sword unsheathed, and figures such as these kneeling at his feet. The boy felt ill and terribly alone. The infidels had an evil look about them. Besides this, in the rush of his travels, he had forgotten a detail, just one detail which could keep him from his treasure for a long time. Only Arabic was spoken in this country. The owner of the bar approached him and the boy pointed to a drink that had been served at the next table. It turned out to be a bitter tea. The boy preferred wine. But he didn't need to worry about that right now. What he had to be concerned about was his treasure and how he was going to go about getting it. The sale of his sheep had left him with enough money in his pouch, and the boy knew that in money there was magic. Whoever has money is never really alone. But before long, maybe in just a few days, he would be at the pyramids. An old man with a breastplate of gold wouldn't have lied just to acquire 6 sheep. The old man had spoken about signs and omens, and as the boy was crossing the strait, He had thought about omens. Yes, the old man had known what he was talking about. During the time the boy had spent in the fields of Andalusia, he had become used to learning which path he should take by observing the ground and the sky. He had discovered that the presence of a certain bird meant that a snake was nearby, and that a certain shrub was a sign that there was water in the area. The sheep had taught him that. If God leads the sheep so well, he will also lead a man, he thought, and that made him feel better. The tea seemed less bitter. Who are you? He heard a voice ask him in Spanish. The boy was relieved. He was thinking about omens and someone had appeared. Please scroll. How come you speak Spanish? He asked. The new arrival was a young man in Western dress, but the color of his skin suggested he was from this city. He was about the same age and height as the boy. Almost everyone here speaks Spanish. We are only 2 hours from Spain. Sit down and let me treat you something, said the boy, and asked for a glass of wine for me. I hate this tea. There is no wine in this country, the young man said. The region here forbids it. The boy told him that he needed to get to the pyramids. He almost began to tell about his treasure but decided not to do so. If he did, it was possible that the Arab would want a part of it as payment for taking him there. He remembered what the old man had said about offering something you didn't even have yet. I would like to take I would like you to take me there if you can. I can pay you to serve as my guide. Do you have any idea how to get there? The newcomer asked. The boy noticed that the owner of the bar stood nearby, listening attentively to their conversation. He felt uneasy at the man's presence, but he had found a guide and didn't want to miss out an opportunity. You have to cross the entire Sahara Desert, said the young man. And to do that, you need money. I need to know whether you have enough. The boy thought it a strange question, but he trusted in the old man who had said that when you really want something, the universe always conspires in your favor. He took his money from his pouch and showed it to the young man. The owner of the bar came over and looked as well. The two men exchanged some words in Arabic, and the bar owner seemed irritated. Let's get out of here, said the new arrival. He wants us to leave. The boy was relieved. He got up to pay the bill, but the owner grabbed him and began to speak to him in an angry stream of words. The boy was strong and wanted to retaliate, but he was in a foreign country. His new friend pushed the owner aside and pulled the boy outside with him. He wanted your money, he said. Tangier is not like the rest of Africa. This is a port, and every port has its thieves. The boy trusted his new friend. He had helped him out in a dangerous situation. He took out his money and counted it. We could get to the pyramids by tomorrow, said the other, taking the money, but I have to buy 2 camels. They walked together through the narrow streets of Tangier. Everywhere there were stalls with items for sale. They reached the center of a large plaza where the market was held. There were thousands of people there, arguing, selling, and buying. Vegetables for sale amongst daggers, and carpets displayed alongside tobacco. But the boy never took his eye off his new friend. After all, he had all his money. He thought about asking him to give it back, but decided that would be unfriendly. He knew nothing about the customs of the strange land he was in. I'll just watch him, he said to himself. He knew he was stronger than his friend. Suddenly, there in the midst of all that confusion, he saw the most beautiful sword he had ever seen. The scabbard was embossed in silver, and the handle was black and encrusted with precious stones. The boy promised himself that when he returned from Egypt, he would buy that sword. Ask the owner of that stall how much the sword cost, he said to his friend. Then he realized that he had been distracted for a few moments looking at the sword. His heart squeezed as if his chest had suddenly compressed it. He was afraid to look around because he knew what he would find. He continued to look at the beautiful sword for a bit longer until he summoned the courage to turn around. All around him was the market with people coming and going, shouting and buying, and the aroma of strange foods. But nowhere could he find his new companion. The boy wanted to believe that his friend had simply become separated from him by accident. He decided to stay right there and await his return. As he waited, a priest climbed to the top of a nearby tower and began his chant. Everyone in the market fell to their knees, touched their foreheads to the ground, and took up the chant. Then, like a colony of worker ants, they dismantled their stalls and left. The sun began its departure as well. The boy watched it through its trajectory for some time until it was hidden behind the white house surrounding the plaza. He recalled that when the sun had risen that morning, he was on another continent, still a shepherd with 60 sheep, and looking forward to meeting with a girl. That morning, he had known everything that was going to happen to him as he walked through the familiar fields. But now, as the sun began to set, he was in a different country, a stranger in a strange land where he couldn't even speak the language. He was no longer a shepherd, and he had nothing, not even the money to return and start everything over. Mansi, you want to read? No? You can take from here.
Okay, okay. Yes. All this happened between sunrise and sunset, the boy thought. He was feeling sorry for himself and lamenting the fact that his life could have changed so suddenly and so drastically. He was so ashamed that he wanted to cry. He had never even wept in front of his own ship. But the marketplace was empty, and he was far from home, so he wept. He wept because God was unfair, and because this was the way God repaid those who believed in their dreams. When I had my ship, I was happy, and I made those around me happy. People saw me coming and welcomed me, he thought. But now I'm sad and alone. I'm going to become bitter and distrustful of people because one person betrayed me. I'm going to hate those who have found their treasure because I never found mine. And I'm going to hold on to what little I have because I'm too insignificant to conquer the world. He opened his pouch to see what was left of his possessions. Maybe there was a bit left of the sandwich he had eaten on the ship, but all he found was the heavy book, his jacket, and the 2 stones the old man had given him. As he looked at the stones, he felt relieved for some reason. He had exchanged 6 sheep for 2 precious stones that had been taken from a gold breastplate. He could sell the stones and buy a return ticket. But this time I'll be smarter, the boy thought, removing them from the pouch so he could put them in his pocket. This was a port town, and the only truthful thing his friend had told him was that port towns are full of thieves. Now he understood why the owner of the bar had been so upset. He was trying to tell him not to trust that man. I'm like everyone else. I see the world in terms of what I would like to see happen, not what actually does. He ran his fingers slowly over the stones, sensing the temperature and feeling their surfaces. They were his treasure. Just handling them made him feel better. They reminded him of the old man. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it, he had said. The boy was trying to understand the truth of what the old man had said. There he was, in the empty marketplace, without a cent to his name and with not a ship to guard through the night. But the stones were proof that he had met with a king who knew of the boy's past. They are called Urim and Thummim, and they can help you to read the omens. The boy put the stones back in the pouch and decided to do an experiment. The old man had said to ask very clear questions, and to do that, the boy had to know what he wanted. So he asked if the old man's blessings were still with him. He took out one of the stones. It was yes. Am I going to find my treasure? He asked. He stuck his hand into the pouch. and felt around for one of the stones. As he did so, both of them pushed through a hole in the pouch and fell into the ground. The boy had never even noticed that there was a hole in his pouch. He knelt down to find Urim and Thummim and put them back in the pouch. But as he saw them lying there on the ground, another phrase came to his mind: learn to recognize omens and follow them, the old king had said. An omen! The boy smiled to himself. He picked up the two stones and put them back in his pouch. He didn't consider mending the hole. The stones could fall through any time they wanted. He had learned that there were certain things one shouldn't ask about, so as not to flee from one's own personal legend. I promised that I would make my own decisions, he said to himself. But the stones had told him that the old man was still with him, and that made him feel more confident. He looked around at the empty plaza again, feeling less desperate than before. This wasn't a strange place, it was a new one. After all, what he had always wanted was just that, to know new places. Even if he never got to the pyramids, he had already traveled farther than any shepherd he knew. Oh, if they only knew how different things are, just 2 hours by ship from where they are, he thought. Although he knew world at the moment was just an empty marketplace, he had already seen it when it was teeming with life and would never and he would never forget it. He remembered the sword. It hurt him a bit to think about it, but he had never seen one like it before. As he mused about these things, he realized that he had to choose between thinking of himself as the poor victim of a thief and as an adventurer in the quest of his treasure. I am an adventurer looking for treasure, he said to himself. Okay, I think Pallavi, do we want to stop here?
Yes, we can because it's already 7:40. I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Thank you everyone for that wonderful reading. Now we are open for sharing. Who wants to go first?
Should I?
Yeah, sure. Please go.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So, when we were reading this book, like today's what we were reading, so there was a line. Actually, I don't remember the exact line, but it was saying that you are always ready to, chase your dream. Something like that was written. Like whatever you want to do, you can start anytime. So, what happened? I will tell a little story, uh, like real story. So, I'm in one group, which is a very big group, like more than 3,000 people are there. So what happened one day, someone from one admin from the group asked, like, you guys know, like everyone talk about financial freedom a lot nowadays. Like from last few years, everyone is talking about financial freedom and all those things. So he asked, like, what you will do if you will get the financial freedom? What things you want to do? So people answered accordingly. Like someone said, like I want to travel the world. Someone said, I want to start this. Someone said, I want to help people. But like everyone wrote their answers, like what they wanted to do when they will get the financial freedom. So I was reading the comments, and then I wrote that time. See, whatever you wanted to do after getting the financial freedom, you can do even now. Like if you want to see the world, you want to see the things, it's not like you can't do if you are not financially free, right? So if you want to help others, if you want to help the society, like people said that I want to give something to society, I want to do something for society. So if you want to do, you can even now there is a no issue is there, you can go to some gurudwara, and there you can give your services free of cost, like once in a week you can go. So it's not like you are having, when you are having enough money, then you can serve the society. सो लाइक सो माय आंसर वाज लाइक व्हाटएवर जो भी आप लिख रहे हैं ये सब तो आप फाइनेंशियली फ्री हुए बिना भी कर सकते हैं. सो व्हाई वेट फॉर फाइनेंशियल फ्रीडम, और इफ यू वांट टू सी द वर्ल्ड, so it is possible that at that time when when you will achieve the financial freedom, maybe you are not able to travel the world or travel the your own country. The thing was because you will be putting yourself in so much stress. Maybe by that time you were physically not be able to that strong, because right now you are not taking care of yourself and working so hard, so you will be financially free. So those were the conversation. And today when you guys were reading, same line came like, if you want to, whatever you want to do, whatever your dreams are, you can start doing them anytime. You don't need to wait for a specific time. So that thing clicked me. And see, Santiago is doing the same thing. Like, he wanted to achieve his dream, so he sold his goats and all, and now he already lost his money. So what he will do? So that's the thing. You have to have the courage to start it. You always get reasons to say, "Kal dekhenge, baad mein dekhenge, we will do it later." So I think it's a very stupid thing, stupid way to say, like, we will do later, hum kal karenge, but that kal will never actually come. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Anjali ji, Suman ji.
So, nothing much. It was a nice read today. And what I would like to say is keep dreams are good. It's always good to have dreams because it keeps us motivated. It gives us a purpose, or like it's like finding a something what we really don't know is our life is holding for us. So dreaming is always good, but in that journey, in that process, we have to be very careful. Like uh, here, no, someone said that there are thieves around. So there are thieves, there are people who might become obstacle or who might be like challenges in the process and who may take away all the money. Money is just a metaphor I'm using here. It's not the money, but it could be the peace of mind, it could be the material things, it could be the physical health, everything. It is at stake. So we have to be very careful when we are starting a new journey. So that is all. Keep it. One should be mindful about it. How we are starting and learn the process, learn, understand the situation at every moment. I also felt that the boy, Santiago, he was somewhere trying to stop when he said, I am happy with my sheep because I know how to share them, how to what they want, the kind of care I should give them, and so I'm so thorough with the thorough being a shepherd. I'm happy with that life. Should I go ahead or not? So there, the thought comes. Keep something which stops us from moving ahead. But really, if the dreams are that strong, or if we are that strongly motivated, just keep going ahead and be mindful, be careful of the challenges ahead, because none of the road is smooth, none of the path what we are going to follow, because it is unknown realm where we are going to search something which we exactly don't know, the treasure we don't know whether it is, exists or not, but we are just moving on a journey, we are going on a journey which is unknown. So we have to be very careful of those thieves, careful of those challenges, and that's it. That's all.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, same as Anjali has expressed it, that there are thieves and we need to be mindful of that. Though omens are there, various signs are there that tells us that we can reach our path or we can grow, but still the thing is that you need not blindly follow everything. You need to be mindful and conscious of the all the options that you are following too. Yeah.
But guys, don't you think like if you will be so conscious about losing something, so you won't be able to find the treasure. Like if you take the example of all inventors, like Thomas Alva Edison is there, and Einstein is there. So many people are there. They invented things, and if like when you are inventing something, you don't know what will, like you will get the whatever you are looking for, you will able to make it or not. but you keep trying, right? And you will fail also. You all guys know the story that 1,000 times he tried to put each and everything inside the bulb to create electricity, like to make the bulb lit. But 1,000 times he failed, and then finally he was able to do it, right? So if you will if you will be scared of losing your money, I mean losing your you won't lose anything. So once you have to lose something to get something, right? This is also a way to achieve things in life.
That is right. Everything comes for a price. We have to pay something for everything what we are looking for. There is a
Like if
price. So
yes,
we have to
Santiago.
be, yes, so we should be ready with that thing if we are ready to pay. So now that it could be physical thing, physical efforts, or it could be something material. So we have that or not? If we want to achieve, if we are going in the market, we should have money in our wallet. So
Correct.
when we are exploring the market without money, what is the use of going into the market? So that is the thing that we have to carry something with which we can buy. So just keep hold of either it is 100 rupee or 10,000 rupees, whatever it is, but we should have something in our possession so that we can pay the price for what we want.
One thing is there that he was getting both the signs, whether to trust that person or not, that he was being intimidated by the other person also, that not to trust him. But because he had the desire, he had set the intention for that uh, what treasure. So he was following all the omens that were leading to that treasure. Whether these in the way the challenges become the pain points, but still he is believing that he will be reaching that treasure. He has a hope, I think.
Correct. Even I love the line that came here. No? Sometimes life breaks us up open only to help us discover the strength we never knew we had. And here the child mm, introspect ki what happened wrong, why he trusted the wrong person. He said ki that shopkeeper was trying to warn him to be aware of the thief you are with, accompanying him, but he didn't trusted him, but he trusted the stranger. So he realized where he went wrong, and he tried to correct himself. So his self-realization, yeah, introspecting what thing went wrong, is also something very profound in this chapter, I guess.
See guys, generally what happen when you want something, no? Sometimes you are not aware what is out of the world, and when you are in desperate need of something, you trust someone who come to you, at that moment. Like वो कहते हैं ना डूबते को तिनके का सहारा, right? So sometimes people who are suffering a lot, who are in so much trouble, they go for these priest and jyotishi and all those horoscope teller and all. And we all know that 99% are fake only, but still we go to them because there is a hope. And so many people you see, earlier, that Asaram Bapu's that Sabha and all those, these god mans, whoever is there, like, so many are there, right? So people used to follow them blindly. And there was one, no, Nirmal Baba or something, who used to say, "You change this, you wear this, and you will get," right. So
Yeah.
what happened? These people were, having faith in them. Why they are having faith in them? Because they want something. They want to, change their life. But so these people look like, some guide to them. Like they said, a good omen, bad omen. So they were seeing them as a, oh, भगवान की कृपा है कि ये कोई हमको मिला, this person is guiding me. So that is your consciousness and your smartness to differentiate between who is actually helping you, who is taking advantage of you. So that is also your presence of mind.
Yes. And here also we should be mindful to read the omens correctly. Here twice there was a sign he could read and could could avoid being cheated, but he didn't realize that he didn't read the sign correctly. I think this is also the type of point over here.
Okay.
Pallavi, I just want to share one thought from this book that Santiago faced two things, that he was cheated by that young man, and the another thing that he lost that stone from his pocket. But in spite of that, he was having the two way. Either he can return or he just can move further to search his treasure. But it gave him the confidence further. He just built his confidence and he keep on continuing his search for the treasure. And these challenges put him more strong to search his treasure. So that's, I think, the good learning that we can take from this session, that in spite of these challenges he was continuing his journey for the treasure. So that was the thing that we can
Last,
take away from this session, today's session.
yeah, the last line is very
Very
profound.
well said.
I
Yes.
am adventurous, looking for a treasure, he said to himself. Yeah, this is
So I,
very
I just, yeah,
correct.
Pali, finish. Yeah, please finish.
Yes, absolutely, Mansi ji. Yeah.
Nene, I just want to ask, I just want to ask that how many of you have read this book? I think Swasti has read it, right?
Yes, yes, I
Pallavi
did.
has read it. Yeah, and maybe I think Pranavi has also read it. I don't know. Anil, Anjali, Suman, have you read it?
No, no, I have not
Mm.
read it,
No,
Ali.
I have not read, but I have seen the summary somewhere long back at YouTube. That the many summaries are available, so that I have
So
seen that.
I was
Yes.
just, as I was listening to the conversation today, I was able to observe it that the ones who have read it are more on a positive note in spite of what has happened in the scene today, and the ones who have not are skeptical. If anyone has observed this, so I just want to just mention this one thing. Like as we go forward, let's keep the curiosity alive. Let's not spoil the curiosity for all the ones who are reading it for the first time, and let's go with the flow and let's go with the chapter by chapter so that we all are on the same page, not coming from a space where we know already what is going to happen and coming from that and talking from that. So that is one thing. So come sticking to what we read today, what I realized and what I felt is basically uh, so I felt like this is what happens with us, right? Like when we are actually, we all have our dreams, and when we are on the quest of finding our dreams, we somewhere get cheated, we somewhere get we get we trust the wrong people, and then we understand that oh this is what, because I feel somewhere that is important also because it's a learning process. So few pointers which I could which were aha moments or which were insights for me while reading this book today. So first, like he has now given up on all his ships. So somewhere, as they say, right, like we are pushed out of our comfort zones. So these ships were his comfort zone now. So he was always like sleeping with them, waking up with them. So he was very habitual to them. So that so he was somewhere by the king taking away his ship. He was pushed out of them, and he was put in a position where now he had no option but to start anew. So I feel when we are as they say, right, like when you are when we want to uh, achieve something, you just don't get something what you want, you get what you are. So first we need to become that person. So now I feel his journey of becoming that has started. And obviously also me coming from a place where I know the book but still I'm trying to be more I'm trying to stick to the page. Obviously, with fiction novels, it's not possible. Once you know the story, you know it. So, but still, so just trying to decode. And but there is a beauty to it that when we reread things, we actually look into the small lines and places that maybe we have not looked upon when we were reading for the first time because we were in the flow of that. So now I could like actually pinpoint some wonderful lines. Even the last line, which the book concluded with, like how Anil beautifully pointed, it was like what you choose, right? Like whatever happens, even the omen part. Anjali will relate with this. The omen part reminded me of tarot. So like they are there to guide you, but this happens with me many a times. Sometimes you don't know the answers, because even tarot will not give you very clear answers, because there is something called free will, right? So we have to choose. We always have to choose. Like there is a destiny written for us. It is, we are meant to be there, maybe something like that. But still, we are the one who is making the choices, because we are getting ready in the choices and we are getting prepared. So I felt like even that way, although he had the stones, he couldn't really think of using them at that point of time, when he earlier, maybe when he thought, because he so much trusted that boy. And maybe that was the omen that the old man was trying to stop him. Maybe he could have looked into it, ki, okay, why is this man trying to stop him, why are you but he blindly trusted. That's what happens, right? When we are so much in the quest of something, we're so desperate that we just want to go for it. We just want to trust anyone and everyone that comes our way, and that's how we fail. That's how we learn. So I feel this is so beautiful. The author has put it so nicely through everything, and even that one story, the oil and that oil drop of oil wala story. I think happiness wala story, which the old man shared with him. That was so beautiful. I felt that. That's how the essence of life is, right? Like where we, when we are running behind something, we have something to hold on to, which we need to protect. But in the process, we need not forget the joys and small beauties of life and observing things around us. So that's what he said, right? You have to balance both of them together. So that was a nice thing. And I also loved how very well pointed by Anil, that how he chose at the end, like if and where he comes to a conclusion where, anyways, I always wanted to look new lands and I'm already doing that. So we forget this, right? When something's bad happens to us, we forget that what actually, maybe they are just a step ahead from what we were. And we were just meant to be here, like maybe this way, not the way we expected it to be, but maybe this way. So yeah, that is what I just felt decoding whatever we read today particularly. So these were my insights, and I'm totally grateful for all this readings and group, because I remember I would have never thought of these insights the first time I read the book, because that time you are in a different flow and you are trying to understand the story. So that was beautiful experience. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Even I was very much, even I was very much, I resonate very much with the feeling that he is seeing the silver lining in every dark cloud. He was so positive that yes, I'm still pursuing my dream, and I always want to travel. And this is the no other shepherd traveled so much as much he did. Yeah, this was very profound.
Yeah,
Very
and I think the last line ended with a wonderful
good.
message that
Yes.
whatever happens, it's the attitude that you choose, or the way he reframes it. That's what is up to us, right? Like, so I felt that is what I learned from today's reading.
Yeah,
And
that.
one simple thing which I have learned was the old man has given the stones to him, provided with one clarity. He told that you should know what to ask and how to use it. So this the old man has taken the shepherds for sure, the sheep in placement of those two stones, because he's somewhere he has decreased his the boy's thought, I mean the way of thinking and all, and he has replaced with this two stones, and indirectly he is asking him to get the clarity of what he is supposed to ask and what he wants out of those omens also. So for that he needs to have that clarity of thinking. But this guy was lost in his world, and he didn't know how to ask them nor how to utilize it correctly. So even we at times we would be so busy with the outer world with lot of distractions and all that stuff, so due to that you wouldn't have clarity to think on what we are supposed to ask. So indirectly I somewhere feel that these two stones are metaphors in our lives. That is, we should go internally into our heart, get the clarity, and then ask for this kind of questions. Then obviously the nature would definitely give us the answers, provided you need to have that clarity. And that clarity comes if you are away from the distractions of this world. So you need to be conscious and be wise in your thoughts, and take less distractions and work on your goals. So that will give us the clarity. So somewhere I felt that that replacement of the sheets with the stones is like just cluttering out all the things and just giving the clarity over there for the boy especially. So he can't understand all these concepts. So old man in a shortcut he told these things. I mean, I have learned from that single point. Thank you all.
Yeah, that was a wonderful perspective because I never saw it as a replacement. So yeah, thanks for adding that. In fact, when you share this, I remember one story. I think everyone here knows it because I've shared it so many times. So that monk wala story where the monk is taken away, like he has a boat and he travels. He's traveling in a boat, and when he is in a river, the boat is very helpful for him, and so he carries that boat on his back, and while he's walking on the woods, the boat, he has to give away that boat to walk in the woods. So it's like when we are into our next chapter of our life, whatever it is, we have to give up or we have to let go of something. So yeah, that reminds me of that, and that you had a wonderful perspective, Pranavi. Yes, because I feel there was this line, right, like in the chapter where decisions, you have to make your own decisions in spite of having the stones. The old man tells him, right, like you cannot always be waiting for omens.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
he
many times you have to make your
want
own
to.
decisions, and I think that is also a learning to make
Yes,
the right decision. So this whole episode happened for the boy to teach him that how he needs to be more. So that's what how he will mature, right, through these small
right.
small experiences, and
And from
now he will
there
learn to
itself
trust the
what
right people, make his own decision.
from there itself the universe works, because you should know, you should have that clarity to ask. So that clarity comes from the core of the heart, right? So I mean, if the boy would have been so much mindful, then that two stones would have answered him in a better way. This being a boy, he has lost his world for some time and then he came back. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe sometimes we the stones need not even see, even in this scene, this Shona, that the stone falls down, like, and then
Yeah.
he learns that okay, I don't have to put them out, I can just allow them to fall. So so that becomes an omen. So he
Yes.
chooses his omens also. So so
Yes.
many things, right? So many small things. Like now that we are trying to introspect, and this is a beauty that when we are together, everyone points out different things, and we learn it. We look at the whole part very differently. So
Yes.
thank you. Yeah, loved it. Thank you so much.
Yes, anyone want to add something? Rajesh ji? So I think all said, and today it was very profound learning from the chapters, and especially the last part and the that last line that the chapter says, uh, uh, mm, and the sharing by the Pranavi ji was also very profound. So now we will begin. So this is the end of the day, and now we will begin from page. uh,
46, please, no,
For
46.
page number 46 from tomorrow. Thank you everyone for beautiful sharing, and I love the last line. Yeah, very much. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
You all.
You let me know when you're done with checking notes, so I will close the room
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
recording.
Thanks everyone for joining. Yeah.
Pranav,
Okay.
you want to say something?
No, that's all. I just thought of telling thank you to all and the people who have hosted. Yeah. Thank
Thanks
you.
everyone for sharing. Yeah, and waiting
Thank
for us.
you, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
bye.
Anilji, you are taking the note for us?
I am taking the notes and I will share with you.
Yes, if you can share in the Alchemist group. I am sharing there only.
Sorry, I had taken the notes for this summary, and I need to take the notes
You can
for.
share it directly in the B Club group also, Anil. Like if both of you can decide the prompts, who will take what. and then you can directly share also. Like if you don't want to correct it, like if you want to take each other's opinion and want to make changes to it, then you use it in the group. Otherwise, you decide. Actually, it's your call. Both of you do it together.
Small
But
formatting.
even Anil can share the notes. Like I'm saying, like
Ah,
who both of you, any one of you can share the notes.
Yes, Anilji, you can share it. Anilji, if you want, you can share directly in the big club group. Yeah, that's
okay,
good. Yeah.
okay, okay, okay,
That will save all the hassle also of checking and time and everything.
okay. Only point is sometime I get busy after that. That's why I requesting. So let me see. I will
Achha,
share.
okay, if that's the case, like if you are busy, then maybe then you share it in the group so that that Pallavi has created, so that then she can share it immediately, na? Like otherwise it
Huh.
will get delayed. So yeah, so that's what, like you decide both of you what works best for both of you, and then you go ahead, like just suggesting.
Okay, okay, okay.
And let me know when you're done, so I'll close. Achha, anyways I can close, na?